All right, so get this. We're diving deep today into how much it actually costs to move within San Diego.
Oh, moving in San Diego.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
If you're planning a move, which, yeah, probably means you're like, how much is this going to set me back?
Yeah.
We've got this awesome guide, though, from Moves Central Movers and Storage.
Okay.
They break it all down, and by the end of this, you'll be like, okay, I know where the hidden costs are, and I can actually plan a budget that won't, break the bank.
That's the goal, right? I mean, moving can feel so overwhelming, but honestly, with a little bit of knowledge and planning, it doesn't have to be a financial disaster.
Doesn't have to be. Let's jump right into some of those factors that can impact costs.
Okay.
Distance, right?
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty obvious one.
Yeah.
The farther you go.
Yeah, absolutely. The farther you're moving within San Diego, I think about it like the higher those transportation costs are going to be. It's like, if you're flying across the country versus just hopping over to the next state.
Yeah, totally.
The price difference is going to be pretty significant.
Huge, right? And it's not just about the miles, right? We got to think about the weight of all our stuff.
You got it. Move Central, they actually emphasize that movers often calculate their charges based on weight.
Okay.
So, if you're basically moving a mansion's worth of furniture versus, a tiny studio apartment.
Right.
Big difference there.
So that's why that detailed inventory they recommend is so important.
Super important. It's not just about being organized, although that's great too. It helps you figure out like, okay, what size truck do I need? You can get a more accurate quote and, maybe you'll realize, oh, I don't need all this stuff.
Right. Do a little decluttering before the move.
Wow.
Spring cleaning, moving edition.
Exactly. Get rid of some stuff, lower the weight, lower the costs.
And you know what else I've always heard? Summer? Bad time to move if you're trying to save money.
You heard right. According to Move Central, you could be looking at like a 20 to 30% price increase during those peak summer months.
Wow.
Everybody and their brother is trying to move when the kids are out of school, so higher demand means higher prices.
Yeah, so if we aim for like fall or winter, we could actually save a chunk of change.
Big time. Less demand means more negotiating power for you.
Ooh, I like that.
There's this company called Finch Moving. They're mentioned in our materials.
Okay.
They actually offer, get this, a flex date option. So you can possibly get those off-peak rates even if you have to move during, the busy season.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's talk about like those tricky items. Everyone's got like, I've got a vintage furniture problem, so I'm already kind of bracing myself for some extra costs there.
Right. Specialty items, things like pianos, big appliances, artwork, antique furniture, all that. Anything that needs extra care or like special handling,
Yeah.
you're probably going to have some additional fees. It's not just the weight. It's like, do they need, special expertise to move it safely?
Yeah, you don't want your grandma's like antique, I don't know, armoire getting all banged up in transit.
Exactly. And while we're at it, all those tempting add-ons, things like packing services, furniture assembly. Do you need storage?
Oh, yeah.
All super convenient.
Super convenient. But
Yeah, but they all add up.
like ordering all the extras and then you get the bill and you're like, oh, no.
You got to weigh your needs against your budget, basically.
Okay.
Prioritize.
And, another thing about San Diego,
Yeah.
a lot of really cute neighborhoods.
The best.
But, narrow streets, limited parking.
Tons of stairs.
There's stairs, yes.
All those things can lead to some extra fees.
Because it takes the movers more time and people to, like, navigate those obstacles.
Exactly. The key is to be really transparent. Move Central, they recommend. Like, tell your movers about any potential issues.
Oh, okay.
At both your old place and the new one. The more info they have, the more accurate their quote's going to be.
Right, because no one wants those surprise fees on moving day.
Yeah.
You're already stressed out enough.
For sure.
Okay, so now we kind of understand those, like, big things that influence the cost.
Right.
How do we actually, like, estimate those expenses? Get a handle on it.
That's where that detailed inventory comes in.
Yeah, but we're not just, like, writing down couch, bed, boxes.
Yeah.
Trying to know.
Get specific. Every piece of furniture, appliances, boxes of books,
Okay.
even, your collection of ceramic frogs, whatever you've got. Not only does it help with the quotes, but you might realize, hey, I can get rid of some of this.
Right. Less stuff equals less money.
You got it.
Okay, so when it comes to getting quotes from moving companies, is there, like, a magic number we should be aiming for?
I would say at least 3
Okay.
from different reputable movers, of course. That gives
Yeah.
you a good comparison point. See what their pricing structure looks like. Move Central, for example. They use a flat rate based on weight and distance. But Finch Moving, they do tiered pricing based on the services you choose.
So it's not just about the lowest number. It's
Right.
like understanding what's included, making sure it fits your needs.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions. A good company will be happy to break it all down for you, explain everything.
Okay, now for the little expenses that, somehow suck up all your money, packing supplies.
Oh, yes. Boxes, tape, the
Right.
bubble wrap, it's like it disappears.
It disappears as soon as you need
So
it.
magic.
And it gets pricey, too.
It can, but pro tip here, think outside the, moving box, I guess. Check with local businesses, maybe friends who just moved. Online communities. You would be surprised how many people just want to get rid of boxes.
That's true. They're just taking up space.
Yeah.
And I bet you could use old blankets, towels, even clothes work great for, padding fragile item.
Absolutely. Resourceful, sustainable, and it saves you money.
Love it. Okay, let's talk insurance. I feel like I always forget about this until the last minute.
Don't skimp on this one.
Okay.
You want to protect your valuables, especially when they're being moved around. Talk to your moving company, see what coverage options they have. Usually there's basic coverage or full value protection. You'll have choices.
Right, so you have peace of mind knowing.
Yeah.
If something happens to, I don't know, my vinyl collection, I'm covered.
Exactly. And, we've mentioned it before, but moving during the off season, it's kind of a big deal.
It is.
Fewer people moving means the moving companies are more likely to offer discounts, negotiate on rates. They're not as busy.
It's like getting those travel deals during, shoulder season.
That's a good way to put it.
And lastly, contingency fund. I feel like that's important for anything, really.
So important, yeah.
What is a contingency fund?
The unexpected expense buffer. Because no matter how much you plan, moving almost always throws a curveball your way.
It does, it does. So you're saying overestimate the budget a bit.
Yeah, have a cushion. What if unexpected storage fees pop up? Or you need to hire extra help at the last minute.
Right, right. You don't want to be scrambling.
No, you don't.
Okay, so we've got a handle on, estimating expenses.
Right.
Let's talk about choosing the right moving company. That feels like another big one.
It is. It is. And that's where your research skills are going to come in handy. Start by looking for companies with good reviews. Yelp, Google reviews, all that. Yeah, and personal recommendations are always great too, right? From friends, family. Oh, the best. Especially if they've moved recently in San Diego. It's firsthand experience. You can't beat that. That's like having a trusted scout going in ahead of you. Okay, now when it comes to credentials, how do we know the company is legit? You always want to make sure they're licensed. Yeah. And insured. Okay. This protects you from liability and, make sure they're operating legally. So it's like checking their ID before you hand over all your stuff. Exactly. Make sure they're the real deal. Now, when you're comparing companies, don't just focus on the price. Think about the services they offer. Do they help with packing? Do they have storage solutions? Can they handle those special items we talked about? Right. See who fits your needs best. It's about the fit, not just the, cheapest option. Exactly. And you know what? Don't be afraid to negotiate. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ask about discounts, bundle deals. Use those off-peak rates to your advantage.
Gotta haggle.
You got it. And customer service is huge, too, of course. You want a company that's responsive, communicates clearly.
Yeah.
Willing to, address your concerns. They should be a partner in this whole thing.
Like a moving therapist. Okay, now, beyond the reviews, credentials, what about the contract? Any advice for that?
The contract.
Yeah.
You got to put on your detective hat.
Okay.
Read that thing carefully. Look for hidden fees, any limitations on liability, what's their cancellation policy, how does the payment schedule work?
So basically, make sure we understand what we're agreeing to.
Precisely. It's like reading those terms and conditions before you download an app. Nobody actually does it, but you should. You don't want any surprises.
Right, right. No surprises. Okay, so money-saving strategies. We talked about decluttering, packing ourselves. What else can we do to, lighten the load? Literally and financially.
Let's talk about packing materials. Instead of buying new boxes and all that,
Yeah.
tap into your network, ask friends, check with local businesses, or look online. You'd be amazed how many people just have boxes lying around.
Totally.
Free boxes.
Free boxes
Wow.
and blankets, towels, even clothes. Those all work great for, padding fragile items.
Absolutely. Resourceful, sustainable, saves you money.
We keep saying that, but it's important.
It is. And, back to the timing thing, moving during the off season, huge difference.
Really, how much are we talking?
Move Central says you could save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars.
Wow.
By moving in the fall or winter. They're less busy, so they might offer you a discount. Be more flexible.
So maybe braving the cold is worth it.
Possibly. And don't forget about that flex date option with Finch moving.
Oh, right, right.
Even if you have to move during the busy season, you
Hmm.
might still snag those off-peak rates.
Okay, so being flexible with our dates.
Yes.
What about those add-on services the movers offer? Can we skip some of those to save money?
If you have the time and you're able to,
Bro.
packing yourself, big savings there. Professional packing is nice,
Oh, yeah.
but it really adds up.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have a plan and enough time to pack everything.
Okay, so maybe like a packing party with friends.
There you go.
Make it fun.
Exactly. And if you're like a little bit handy, you can opt out of the furniture assembly service. Just make sure you have the right tools and, a little bit of patience.
Okay, now those hidden costs that, they like to sneak up on you.
Oh, yeah, they love to do that.
We talked about storage fees, utility connections. Anything else we should be watching out for?
Parking permits. A lot of places, especially in San Diego, you need a permit for the moving truck, especially if you're blocking the street or a sidewalk. Check the rules in your new neighborhood so you don't get a ticket.
Right, and I imagine getting those permits takes a little bit of time.
It does.
Not a last-minute thing.
Plan ahead.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about saving money,
We have.
but moving is a big life change.
It is.
Any advice for just like keeping stress levels down?
Oh, for sure. First of all, start planning early. Procrastination is not your friend here. The more time you have to prepare, the less overwhelming it'll feel.
So no more like all-nighter packing sessions fueled by coffee and anxiety.
Hopefully not. Make a timeline, make a checklist, break everything down into small steps, tackle it one at a time.
Yeah, and delegate, right. If you've got friends or family helping, give everybody a specific job.
Exactly. It's amazing how much smoother it goes when everyone knows what they're doing.
That's true.
And, moving is tiring. It's a lot, both physically and emotionally. Take breaks, drink water, get enough sleep. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Pace yourself, take care of yourself.
Okay, so we talked about the logistics, the financial side, the emotional side. What about the actual packing?
Oh, the packing.
Yeah.
All right. Use the right boxes for the right stuff. Don't put heavy books in those flimsy boxes. They're going to break. Small boxes for heavy things, big boxes for lighter stuff like linens or clothes.
That makes sense. Evenly distribute the weight and no like overpacking.
Don't overpack. The boxes should be full but not overflowing. Leave some room for, packing peanuts or whatever you're using to cushion things.
Yeah.
And make sure they close all the way.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And for fragile items.
Bubble wrap. All the bubble wrap. Wrap everything individually and then fill in the gaps with packing peanuts or even crumpled up paper or towels and blankets.
That makes sense. You're making like a little nest.
Exactly. Now, pro tip here. Pack a first night box.
A first night box.
Yeah, with all the essentials you need as soon as you get to your new place. Toiletries, medications, a change of clothes, phone chargers, maybe even some snacks.
That's so smart. I've totally been in that situation where you get to the new place and you're like, where's my toothbrush?
Right. This way, your first night is a little bit more comfortable, less chaotic.
Okay, so we've covered packing, getting organized, even a little self-care. Anything else we need to keep in mind?
Plan your route,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're moving during rush hour. You don't want to be stuck in traffic with a truck full of your stuff.
And make sure the truck's tall enough to go under bridges and stuff.
Yes, good point. Oh, and fuel up the truck the night before. You don't want to be running on empty when you're trying to move.
All right, these are all such great tips.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I'm starting to understand this.
I'm glad. That's what we're here for. Knowledge is power.
Yeah, and less stress.
Definitely. Now, in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to really get into that DIY versus professional movers question, give you even more tips and strategies.
I can't wait. This is great.
It's going to be good.
Okay, so welcome back to our deep dive into San Diego moving costs.
Oh, we're back.
I'm feeling a lot more confident about my own move after that first segment. But I'm still kind of stuck on this, like DIY or hire the pros.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? It haunts every mover, I think. There's no easy answer. But we can definitely help you figure out what makes sense for your situation.
Okay, yeah, let's break it down even more, this whole DIY versus professional movers thing. So we talked about being honest with ourselves, right? About our physical abilities, how organized we are, how much time we have, all that. What are some things that might, like, scream, hire the professionals?
Well, imagine this. You're moving a grand piano
Okay.
up 3 flights of stairs,
Oh, no.
and there's no elevator.
Yeah, that's a professional job.
I'm picturing, like, A piano-shaped hole in the wall.
And me having a breakdown.
Exactly. Or maybe, you have a super busy job, family stuff going on, and the thought of packing boxes for weeks is just like,
No, thank you.
no, thank you. Professionals can take care of that, save you time and stress.
Right, so sometimes it's not even about the physical part. It's about, like, mental health.
Absolutely.
Okay, what about the money side of things?
Mm.
When does it make more sense financially to hire the pros?
Well, if you're moving a long distance, like really far, out of state maybe,
Mm-hmm.
think about all that goes into it. Renting a truck, driving it,
Yeah.
finding people to help you load and unload. What if the truck breaks down? It can get really expensive and really time-consuming.
Yeah, plus all the wear and tear on your own car. And, driving in places you don't know. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And in those cases, honestly, the convenience and the peace of mind of having professional movers, it can be worth the extra cost. They know what they're doing. They have the resources to handle it all.
Right, so it's about looking at the whole picture, not just the, sticker price.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say we're feeling brave. We're on a budget.
All right.
We're going to DIY this move. What are some ways to, make it more efficient, less stressful?
Organization. Organization is your best friend.
Okay.
Start packing early, like weeks ahead of time. Make a list of everything as you go.
Okay, so no more, throwing things in random boxes the night before.
No. Label every box. Write down what's in it and which room it goes in. That way, unpacking is a breeze. And your helpers don't have to, guess where things go.
Right. Speaking of helpers, any advice for, managing the moving day chaos? I always imagine, a lot of people running around, a lot of shouting.
Clear communication is key. Give each person a specific job, like loading the truck, taking apart furniture, whatever needs to be done. That keeps things running smoothly, and nobody feels overwhelmed.
Okay, so it's like a well-oiled moving machine.
Exactly. Now, those tricky items, the ones that always cause problems.
Oh, yeah.
Measure your doorways and hallways, both in your old place and the new place.
Oh, good idea.
Make sure those big pieces of furniture can actually fit through. Saves you a lot of headaches on moving day.
I've definitely been in that situation where you're trying to, squeeze a couch through a door that's too small.
Yeah, not fun. And for those heavy things, appliances, big furniture, invest in some proper moving equipment or rent it. Dollies, furniture sliders, lifting straps.
Yeah. Protect your back, your floors, all that.
Exactly. Safety first. Now let's talk about the mental and emotional side of DIY moves.
Okay.
Moving is stressful. Be kind to yourself. Take breaks, drink water, get enough sleep, ask for help. Don't try to do it all alone.
Yeah, sometimes you just need someone to, vent to
Eh,
or just laugh with.
exactly.
Okay, so packing. Any pro tips?
Use the right boxes. Heavy books, don't put them in those flimsy boxes. They'll fall apart. Small boxes for heavy things, big boxes for later stuff.
Makes sense. Distribute the weight evenly. And you said before, no overpacking.
Right. The boxes should be full, but not bursting at the seams. Leave some room for packing material. And make sure the boxes close all the way.
Okay, and for fragile things, what do you recommend?
Bubble wrap. Lots of bubble wrap. Wrap each item separately. Then use packing peanuts or crumpled up paper or even towels to fill the gaps.
So they don't move around and break.
Exactly. Now here's a tip. Pack a first night box.
A first night box.
Yeah, with all the stuff you need right away when you get to your new place.
Yeah.
Toiletries, medications, change of clothes, phone chargers, snacks.
Oh, that's a good idea. I always
Yeah.
forget something.
Right. This way, your first night is more comfortable, less stressful.
Okay, so we talked about packing, staying organized, taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Plan your route. Think about traffic, especially if you're moving during rush hour.
Right?
You don't want to be stuck in traffic with a truck full of boxes. And make sure the truck is tall enough to go under any low bridges or overpasses on your route.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, and fill up the truck with gas the night before. You don't want to be running on empty on moving day.
These are great tips. I'm actually starting to feel like I can do this.
I knew you could. Knowledge is power, right?
Right. And less stress.
Always less stress. All right, so in the last part of our deep dive, we're going to talk about even more ways to save money.
Awesome. Can't wait.
It's going to be good.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dives into San Diego moving costs.
Round 3.
We've covered so much already.
Yeah.
Understanding what goes into the cost.
Yeah.
Deciding whether to DIY or hire movers. Finding those hidden expenses. But now, let's talk about saving money. Like actual strategies for keeping those costs down.
Okay, so saving money on a move, it's all about being resourceful, thinking strategically. And Honestly, a little bit of creativity goes a long way.
Okay, so we're getting creative.
We are. We talked about decluttering, packing ourselves, but let's go back to those packing materials, boxes, tape, all that. Instead of buying everything brand new, why not tap into your network? Ask friends who've moved recently. Check with local businesses. Look online.
Right.
So many people are just like desperate to get rid of boxes.
They are. It's like free treasure. And you know what? We can use old blankets, towels, even clothes work great for like protecting fragile stuff.
Exactly. Reuse, repurpose. It's good for your wallet, good for the environment.
Okay, let's talk timing again. So, summer is bad if you want to save money, but how much of a difference does it really make to move during the off season?
A big difference. Like Move Central says you could potentially save hundreds, maybe even thousands
Wow.
by moving in the fall or winter. Movers are less busy, more likely to give you a discount, work with you on the price.
So yeah, maybe dealing with a little bit of cold weather is worth it.
Maybe so. And don't forget about Finch Moving and their flex date option.
Right.
Even if you have to move during peak season, you could still get a better price if you're flexible with the exact day.
So flexibility is key.
Flexibility is key.
Yeah.
What about those add-on services? The movers offer all those extra things. Can we skip some to save some cash?
That's what I want to know.
So if you have the time and you're physically able to, packing yourself, huge savings right there. Professional packing is great,
Yeah.
but it gets expensive. Just make sure you have a plan and enough time to get it all done.
Okay, so maybe a packing party with friends.
There you go. Make it fun. And if you're like a little bit handy, you can usually skip the furniture assembly service. Just make sure you have the tools and some patience.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's talk about those hidden costs again. We already talked about storage fees, utility connections. Anything else we should be thinking about?
Parking permits.
Oh, yeah.
If your new place doesn't have a lot of street parking, you might need a permit for the moving truck, especially if you're blocking the street or the sidewalk.
Right.
Check the rules in your new neighborhood ahead of time. You don't want a ticket on top of everything else.
No, you do not. And I'm
Yeah,
guessing getting those permits takes some time.
it does.
So, not a last-minute thing.
Nope, plan ahead.
Okay, so we talked about saving money. Lots of good tips.
We did.
But moving is more than just the finances, right? It's a whole life change. Any advice for, like, managing the stress of it all?
Oh, yeah. Start planning early. I know we've said it before, but it's important. Procrastination is your enemy when you're moving. The more prepared you are, the less stressed you'll be.
So no more, like, packing all night, running on coffee and anxiety.
Let's avoid that. Make a timeline. Make a checklist. Break down all those tasks into smaller steps. Take it one step at a time.
And delegate, right. If you've got friends or family helping, give everyone a specific job to do.
It's amazing how much smoother things go when everyone knows what they're doing. And remember to be kind to yourself. Moving is tiring. It's physically demanding. It's emotionally demanding. Take breaks, drink water, get some sleep, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
Yeah, like I'm picturing a massage after this whole thing is done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Treat yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It is. Okay, so I think we've covered pretty much everything about moving costs in San Diego. Those key factors, choosing a moving company, the hidden expenses, even packing tips. I feel like a moving expert now.
I think you are. Hopefully you feel like you can tackle this move with confidence, and maybe even some excitement.
Definitely less dread.
That's the goal. Moving can be tough, but it's also a chance for a fresh start.
Yeah, a chance to create a new space for yourself.
Exactly. And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. So enjoy the process, take it one step at a time, and celebrate all those little wins along the way.
I love that. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into San Diego moving costs. We hope this has given you the information you need to plan a move that's, good for your wallet and good for your soul.
And no matter where you're headed in life, keep diving deep. Keep exploring. The world is full of interesting things to learn.
So true. Until next time, happy moving.